Hello, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
No, I was testing the mic. Oh, okay, I'm live. Hello, everybody. This is a live emergency briefing with a snowstorm breaking out across East Texas into northwestern Louisiana. Here you can see the radar imagery, the pink outline, winter storm warning. I'm going to be having a special guest this evening. My mom is going to come on here and also discuss the forecast and the forecast models. Here you can see the Interstate 20 corridor. Heavy snow is falling right now in Longview and to the east of Longview on I-20. Lots of accidents out here, all kinds of backups and everything too. And that snow continues into northern Louisiana as well, including the Shreveport area, definitely getting hammered. And off to the south, you can start to see that bright banding that develops. And this is as droplets collect on wet snowflakes there, making them even more reflective than they are. And that's one way to tell the precipitation type there that's falling. That's from the Shreveport radar, so just a little bit further away from the radar. That's where you can see that bright banding, so that's above the ground there. Probably a little bit of a warm nose down there as well, some melting of those snowflakes. But let's look at the surface map, and we can see exactly where that snow is falling. Last stop I saw, even Houston was mixing with some snowfall with that rain. All the winter weather alerts are to the north of Houston right now, but just barely to the north. So if you're heading northbound out of Houston, you definitely do want to be prepared for impactful winter weather. Even to the north of Beaumont, just barely to the north of Beaumont. That's where that winter weather advisory is in effect. It doesn't take much down there, 1 to 3 inches, but there could even be some higher amounts, some of that higher terrain as well. The Texas piney woods are definitely getting hammered by the snow event. And let's look at the surface map right now. Hopefully my live stream is coming through here. Here is the surface map. And you can see that 4-star snow there. Tyler area, 33 degrees. Pretty borderline temperatures, but definitely with very heavy snow falling like this. It is certainly accumulating on those road surfaces. And you can see the dew point, that bottom number, 30 degrees, 33 over 30. Probably wet bulbing, near or just a little bit below freezing, especially after sunset, allowing those surface temperatures to cool just a little bit and allowing that snow to accumulate even more rapidly. Shreveport, though, still about 34 degrees, 1 mile visibility, probably just outside of town, though. It's even heavier than that. I suspect that I-20 in Shreveport is definitely snow-covered and slippery, but especially just to the west of Shreveport, Longview, out toward Tyler, 4-star snow just to the east of Tyler. There you can see half-mile visibility in Tyler right now with those north-northeast winds, temperature 33 degrees. And where the heavier precipitation is falling, it definitely does tend to lead to some dynamical cooling as well, kind of bringing those cooler temperatures aloft with the heavily falling precipitation there. You also get wet bulbing, where the dew point rises and the temperature cools, meeting in the middle, somewhere in the middle there. And usually that wet bulb temperature, in this case, so 33 over 30, is near just a little bit below freezing there along I-20. And I normally would be chasing this setup out there, but I've got a new wheel that's coming in for the Dominator 4 tomorrow at 10:30. So I'm going to be mobile once again, but doesn't mean I can't sling live weather briefings like this to break down the conditions happening out there. This is the latest HRRR. Well, let's do the latest HRRR. This is at 0Z. A little bit ago, but close enough. And you can kind of see how well the HRRR has this system forecast for this time period. And based on the surface map, it looks pretty good. Just to the east of Shreveport, that surface ob was 37. Still yet to wet bulb. Yet for that precipitation to arrive. Oh my goodness, the Bears just scored a last-second touchdown. Almost ruined the spread, but thankfully they're not going to kick. Hopefully they're not going to kick the extra point here with time expired, but definitely a meaningless touchdown. I see they just took the Saints touchdown away too, which is disappointing. Oh, good heavens. 21-9, Saints just won. But anyway, here is the HRRR model. There you can see it. Definitely has a pretty good handle on the precipitation with the latest surface map showing that just to the east of Shreveport, 37/30, yet to wet bulb there. Ruston, 35/27. Very light snow falling, but the HRRR kind of shows the heavier snow right about now, mostly on the Texas side. It also seems to have a pretty good handle on where the rain-snow line is, where the rain-snow mix line is. And look at this in Houston. Definitely starting to see snowflakes now. In fact, the visibility is even dropping a little bit, 4 to 6 miles there. Temperatures well above freezing down into downtown Houston, but definitely looks like snowflakes are falling there in the Houston area. Big-time northerly winds, deepening that cold layer a bit and getting a sounding that's more supportive of snowfall. And speaking of perfect soundings for snowfall, let's take a look at that. And here you can see a beautiful snow sounding. This is the 0 line right here. Depth of the cold layer all the way up. A little bit of warm advection there, flipping around to those southwesterlies. But the warm nose never makes it above freezing, except for right at the surface layer. Of course, down there, that far south, your ground temperatures are a little bit warmer, and that can even push that temperature about 33 degrees. But just above the ground, you can see this cold layer right here. And so when you get heavy precipitation falling in that layer, it can actually bring that cold air down to the surface. Beautiful snow sounding with the lift here at the mid-levels of the atmosphere at 500 millibars. Moist sounding as well. The green line is dew point. The red line is temperature. Moist with lift. Moisture with lift here at 500 millibars, about 6 kilometers above the ground, is perfect for those very large dinner plate-sized snowflakes to be falling from the sky. Let's see where the upper system is now here on the HRRR. There you can see the core of that upper system in north central Texas. Bit of a vortex there. Some vorticity advection as well downstream. A bit across vorticity contours likely. And that's creating precipitation. Also warm advection is contributing to the lift downstream. Let's look at the 3 kilometer NAM here. Well, that's at the regular NAM. There's that potent vortex that is consolidated to the west of the DFW Metroplex as of 0Z. And earlier, it had a lot of the maximum vorticity kind of on the south side of that upper level circulation. And that has kind of become the dominant circulation now. Consolidated vort here. And this is about the peak intensity of this upper level system. It slid east-southeast during the day today as it consolidated around that southern bulb. And now it's going to pivot and turn off to the east-northeast and then shear out with time. So this is definitely the peak of the system. Peak vorticity advection downstream. Peak lift at 500 millibars. Also warm advection contributing to that lift out ahead of this, but mainly vorticity advection in this case. Jet dynamics as well. Got the jet streak coming in here to the south of that upper level low left exit region. So those are kind of the contributing factors here for lift with this upper level storm system here, this vortex digging way down to the south. A lot of cold air as well, making it possible to get snow. So let's see where this precipitation is going to go with time. The upper level system is definitely weakening with time, shearing out as it lifts off to the east. That's going to allow for a weakening of the precipitation shield as it moves off to the east. And the air mass isn't as cold off to the east either. So the snow continues in East Texas through late evening, through 10 p.m., and then it finally begins to move out. About midnight, that's when the snow begins to taper off here in East Texas, continuing though across northern Louisiana, including that I-20 corridor into central Louisiana. Vicksburg area starts to get in on the action here by about 7Z, just after midnight. Spreading all the way into western Alabama along the I-20 corridor by about 2 to 3 in the morning. Out there, the snow continues. Areas like Monroe. Lighter snow, though. Definitely not as heavy as it is now, with the upper system really peaking in intensity, pivoting and turning off to the east-northeast, kind of where it does that turn in the Texas side with the snow shield from east-southeast to the northeast. Right there is where I expect some of the highest totals, aside from the high plains, of course, in the southern Texas panhandle. I believe there are some double-digit snowfall totals out there. But between 22Z and on, look at that, showing some big totals by the HRRR all the way down into central Louisiana. But I think that these are inflated by the HRRR just north of that rain snow line. Works a little bit differently way down here in the deep south like this. I think that right to the north of that rain snow line, these values are a bit inflated, and you're probably going to see more of a 2 to 4 inch type of a swath here from the eastern Texas piney woods along I-10. But really what you want to note here is how this snow swath really weakens as it moves off to the east, but it does pretty much have uniform values from East Texas all the way across northern Louisiana. So at least according to the HRRR, you should have uniformly high, uniformly heavy, impactful snow all along I-20 across Louisiana, through the Mississippi River, even through the Vicksburg area. Jackson even gets in on the action here. Pretty incredible snow event down here for Louisiana. And it looks like the heaviest totals, according to radar right now, according to me, look like they're falling near I-20. And you have a lot of bright banding and a little bit of rain mixing in as you get further south. Let's see what the latest 3-kilometer NAM shows for snow maps. 3-kilometer NAM shows quite a bit less snowfall across northern Louisiana, and the 3-kilometer NAM may have a better handle on the low-level thermodynamics out there. There's some warmer temperatures across northern Louisiana, but still a good 4 to 5, 3-4 inch snowfall totals along I-20 all the way through Monroe, almost to the Mississippi River, and then, of course, that band gets a bit more diffuse through central Mississippi into Alabama. This is the regular NAM here. 3-kilometer NAM always looks a little bit weird for snow maps, so kind of just use it for placement of that heavier band. But it definitely does. All the models have been pretty consistent with the heaviest snow falling just south of I-20. But based on surface obs and updates from storm chasers, it sure does look like I-20 is getting hammered right now. Lots of accidents, very heavy snow, reduced visibility out there. Can go back to the radar once again. Definitely very heavy snow along the I-20 corridor, but the heaviest is just south of I-20. So radar is definitely matching up with those models. I'd say the heaviest snow is probably falling something like this eventually. And you really need that dynamical cooling, too, to bring down that cold air just above the ground all the way down to the surface to get those temperatures just below freezing and really get those accumulations. And there definitely is accumulations on the I-20 corridor as well. This is the Radar Omega app here. Winter storm warnings are in pink all the way through western Louisiana, or through western Mississippi, excuse me. 2 to 4 inches, locally higher amounts expected out there. That includes Vicksburg, almost to Jackson. for the Weather Service forecasts here. Up to 2 inches, locally higher amounts possible there. A little bit higher west of Jackson on I-20 toward the Vicksburg area. Areas you usually hear us talking about during tornado season when we're storm chasing out here in Dixie Alley, but it's snow right now falling in the deep south, dumping double-digit snowfall totals. The hill country to the southwest of DFW. That upper system kind of slid down to the east-southeast. Now it's shifting to the east-northeast. Alexandria has a winter storm warning. Expecting a mix initially, then changing over to snow. 1 to 3 inches expected, with the HRRR has 7.8 inches falling there in Alexandria. Really not resolving the precipitation mode very well. And kind of this warm nose that's working into this area a bit out ahead of the upper system. And the surface temperatures also are pretty borderline, but just above the ground there's a lot of cold air that in the heavier precipitation you can get dynamical cooling here. So in the heavier precipitation it can shift from rain, sleet over to very heavy snow accumulating rapidly. Mansfield's definitely going to get hammered just north of Alexandria, Natchitoches. All these areas are going to get in on the action. It's just getting started though along the I-20 corridor here in Louisiana. But it does seem to be advancing pretty quickly. Low-level environment, moistening rapidly, and then the snow begins to fall. Looks like Shreveport's getting hit pretty hard by this heavy snow right now. Probably going to have moderate snow there shortly. Minden, Ruston, Monroe, it's just about to start snowing. So definitely be careful out there across the south. I'm sure that you may not have proper snow tires down there because you really don't need to prepare for winter usually. Just get a few of these events, but looks like the rain-snow line so this is definitely mixing with rain here. This is all when the snowflakes get little droplets accumulating on them and they become more reflective, showing up as heavier precipitation than it really is. But it's definitely starting to change over. Definitely north of that line. It's probably all very heavy, wet snow. Mansfield, Natchitoches, that's how you say that. You can also look at the surface map here once again. So it's just, it definitely is consistent with that bright banding, kind of snow mixing with rain here, 34, 36 degrees. Alexandria also is borderline. And then up even along I-20, temperatures are a little bit warmer, but you still need to wet bulb. The precipitation is moving into Monroe through Ruston as well. So that dew point's going to rise from 27. The temperature is going to cool from 35, end up being very near freezing along I-20. Accumulating probably 3 to 5 inches of snow, maybe even locally higher amounts possible. You can see the visibilities back in East Texas are starting to come up just a little bit. So certainly be safe out there. Definitely a big-time snowstorm well underway. Definitely do please send your snow videos to my Twitter and Facebook, and I'll definitely be sure to share those. And thank you for tuning in to my weather reports. Stay safe out there, everybody, and have a good night.